What do you do when you feel like you lack the opportunity to make the impact that you'd like to make with your life? This is a great question, one we're going to jump into. But as we get started, if you have not yet subscribed to the page, please do that. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. That lets you know when new content comes online. And if you like what's said, go ahead and share that out. And we'll do our best to continue to produce content that can be a help to you. What do you do when you look at your life and you think something like this? I want to make an impact. I want to help people. I want to encourage people. I want to impact the world around me, but I just lack the opportunity to do that. I don't have maybe the same platform that other people have. What do I do? This is a great question. It's one that I really believe anyone who's thinking about their life and thinking about making an impact has to consider from time to time. I was reading this week in the Old Testament book of Genesis, and this is the beginning of a new year, starting my reading plan through the Bible again, and reading the story of a character you may be familiar with if you read the Bible, or maybe you've been to Sunday school. He's a pretty well-known character, a man by the name of Joseph. Joseph's an interesting character in the Bible. In the book of Genesis, we find that he was the son to Jacob, who became Israel, from which the nation of Israel was descended. He had a number of brothers, and he was the youngest. He was favored by his dad, and because his dad liked him so much, his brothers didn't. A little sibling rivalry going on there. In the course of time, his brothers, to get rid of him, sold him into slavery. And then he had some problems with the man that he worked with, ended up in prison, would eventually end up as the second most powerful man in the nation of Egypt. It's a crazy, crazy story. A lot of lessons to be learned there, but one of the lessons we learn from the life of Joseph is this. He did the very best he could with what he had where he was. When he was working for his dad, he did the very best job that he could possibly do. He was sold into slavery, became a slave, and worked for a man named Potiphar. And while he was there, again, he did the very best job he could with the tools and the resources available to him. That kind of went sideways. He ended up in prison. And again, as we look at the story, we find that he did the very best job he could, even in prison, to the point where he was promoted to kind of running the prison underneath the warden, the guy who was actually in charge. Eventually, that would lead him to the palace working for Pharaoh. It's an amazing story, but it's a story of a man who didn't have much to speak of in terms of platform or opportunity. But he used everything that he did have. And this is the lesson. When you look at your life and you say, I just don't have all the resources, all the opportunities, the same stuff available to me that maybe other people have, you can't worry about what you don't have. You simply need to focus on what you do have and do the work that you can to minister, to help, to encourage, to impact as many people as you possibly can with the resources that you have available to you. There's a phrase that helps me kind of move forward when I get stuck. It's this: do the work. Just do the work. Put your head down, do the work, and let the rest of it work itself out. Do the work. Make the impact you can where you are, and you'll see over time that your impact will grow, your opportunities will increase, and you'll do even more because you decided to do the very best that you could with what you have available to you right now. We're getting into this new year. Just decide right now. I'm not going to worry about what I don't have. I'm going to focus on what I do have and do the very best I can to make the biggest impact possible.